you can see it. Yeah, we're doing it right now. I guess we'll start by going to Google Union then. Alright, well, in the run, I guess I can just show the trick then, because I'll go over the routing for whatever category it is, but you can just warp to any spatula in Pier if you want. I usually just warp to the bumper boat spatula, but there are bus stops all around the area, so you can just switch to Patrick from one of them. Alright. If you're practicing this, I'd recommend also getting the checkpoint as well, because the checkpoint right over here, like if you fail one of the tiki throws, I'll demonstrate. So you're going to be using these two tikis to do this trick, but if you fail and the tiki like breaks somehow or you lose it, you can't do the trick without the other tiki. So that's why I say if you're practicing this, get the checkpoint here so you can respawn like right in front of them. So to pick up this tiki, what I usually do is I slowly walk toward it and I mash the pickup button, whatever it is on your console. So you just kind of slowly tiptoe toward it, mash it. Probably maybe just clear these guys out. In the run, you might not be able to do that at first, but I guess if you're just learning the trick, this is fine. Just kind of like stand on these little bolt things and throw the first one. Now, for this second part, you want to make sure that, like, you got to remember that the platforms are going to tilt back and forth on this. You see that? So you want to kind of, like, visualize where the center of the platform is now and kind of throw it when you get there. So now I'm tilted back. You want to walk forward to make up for that distance so you can get this. I mean, you can just kind of figure it out on your own, where to stand and where to jump and where to throw. But, yeah, that's just how I do it. For this one, I would recommend throwing it all the way out to the left because you want to avoid throwing the tikis on top of each other. And the auto target will sometimes do that too if you do that. So you just get the second one. You're going to do the same thing twice. It actually is faster to throw both of them on the same like path, like to go back and get the other one during the like it's actually faster to bring them both over at the same time, but you run the risk of throwing them on top of each other, so I wouldn't worry about that for now. Anyway, you have these two tikis here, so you're gonna take the first one. Also, make sure you disable the hand first. If you don't know how to disable the hand, I'll just show you after I'm done with this. So make sure you have the hand disabled, otherwise if you jump in here, the hand's gonna grab you. Wherever you throw it, you gotta kind of figure out this on your own, I guess. Like, wherever you throw the tiki, you gotta figure out how to pick it up again. If it falls into this little gutter over here, you can pick it up and stand under this ramp, throw it, and it'll kind of go on top of it. But you gotta figure out how to maneuver the tikis around. That's just part of the trick. It gets a lot easier once you get used to it, though. Alright, so this part of the trick, you're gonna zoom in your camera and kind of walk Patrick to the center. You want to kind of be facing this way a little bit crooked, facing this way, and kind of get into the center, so he's facing slightly to the left. And the reason why you're going to do this is because the angle on the control stick I'm going to input to put him in the right spot, he's going to be coming from the left side, and if you have him facing this way, if you pull back on the control stick, he's going to turn around from the right side, so you don't want to do that. You want to come in from this way just a little bit. So stand here in the center. Now you're going to turn the control stick, the camera stick. You see this, the hole on the top? See how there's a little angle, like a little vertice, like right where the stone is popping out of the top in the turquoise area. The little darkened red area, there's a little like cave-in part where the two lines kind of meet. You're trying to get that part like in the center, almost, kind of like this, a little bit more. You're trying to kind of get that to be like. You're doing this so you can line up the two circles that you're looking at, the two red circles, or the magenta circles, whatever you call them, to be lined up in the center. Now that you're like this, you need to very slightly input a down input on your control stick, ever so slightly that you don't walk. So kind of like, just very slowly go for it, like that. Because you need to turn around without walking. If you walk, it's not going to work. But once you get to this position, throw the tiki. And if your belly is just barely poking through like that, that means the setup worked. And I'm going to show you like how it wouldn't work though. So sometimes if you're too fast, if you're not patient enough, he'll walk a little bit, and then that'll happen. Another thing too is that if you don't, when you pull back like this with this little when you barely turn, if you throw it like that, I see how it's a little bit crooked and off center, and too much of your belly's showing. That's also not going to work. You have to kind of like set it up, and you'll get used to this. Like I'll show you the exact way it's supposed to look. Like obviously, like it's not extremely precise, but I'll show you like a setup that'll definitely work. Let's see, like I was too far out for that one too. Again, line it up. Again, this one can possibly work, but there's a little bit too much of your belly showing, so I'm gonna try to get the one that definitely works, so you can kind of like strive for that one, I guess. Alright, so the tiki's not facing the right way. I don't really know how to correct this, but this one should be good. I'll try again just to show you more angles that could possibly work, because I feel like a lot of this is about like experience. This one might work. You gotta be able to recognize all of them. That's definitely not gonna work. That one also might work. Again, like you kind of get like the pattern here, like his belly is like kind of sticking out. I'm trying to get the best one. That might not be right. Yeah. You just gotta play around with it. See how I walk there? It's not gonna work. This one's perfect. You see how this one, like his nose, the nose of the tiki is peeking through his stomach? This one's perfect. Like this is definitely going to work. I'll just keep throwing them to show you different scenarios. This one probably wouldn't work. He was a little bit too far forward there. This is definitely going to work. See how his belly is between the brow and the chin? Kind of like enclosed in there. This one's also good. Anyway, I think I've shown you guys enough. You've seen pretty much most of the scenarios that'll happen. But yeah, the tiki should be right there. So now you can unzoom if you want. Now this part is actually like surprisingly important. If you throw the bowling ball from here, I find that if the bowling ball takes more time to move to the hole in the correct spot where you're trying to throw it. Because if when you throw the ball, you're trying to wait for the ball to go like right here in the upper right corner. That's what you're waiting for. But if you throw it from like all the way over here, I find that a lot of the time it takes the ball longer to roll into that spot. So if you throw from like the center over here to the left side of the gutter, and then on the way back you switch to Patrick, I've noticed that it goes into place a lot more often. So like if you take a look at this, see how it's rolling into place? That's where you want it, right there. Now, I'm actually going to throw a ball again to get rid of this so I can show you. Okay. So, anyway, back to what we were doing before. I just wanted to demonstrate that. So now that you see that the tiki's in place, before you switch to SpongeBob, you can pick up this tiki, stand on this board of wood right here on these little nails, like, see where I'm standing, like in the little cross between these. Throw the tiki. It should land on top of the ramp here, so you can pick it up. If you again, like you saw what to do earlier, if it lands here, you can just get it back out. But you want it to be on top of the ramp because you're gonna pick it up, and you're gonna stand like right here with it. So now that the tiki's there, like kind of like right in the center. Again, what I was saying before, walk all the way out over here, pull the tiki up into the left side. And now, it should be going into place. I found this is pretty consistent. Yep, so it's going into place. When it gets to the corner, throw it. And it didn't work. So, now you have to kind of diagnose what wasn't going to work, like why it didn't work. I think that the reason why that one didn't work is because it was too far down. So, again, you gotta diagnose it. Again, I've been failing this trick a lot lately. So that's probably part of why I didn't get it. It could work in that corner too. So I'll just try that. Let's see, it should. Alright, this is actually good. Yeah. And you can see what's happening down here. It's just going in and out. But again, like when you don't get it, there's a reason why you don't get it. It's not really random. If you get it in the right spot, it works every time. There are a few spots that you can get it in, but I just find that part's the most consistent for me. So again, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I kind of stand like on the edge here, with his left foot kind of in the part of the arrow. See how the arrow is facing his foot. But you can try different spots, see if they work for you. I just find that the top part is the most consistent. And again, like I kind of waited too long to do this. So I'm just gonna, here. Get rid of this ball. You gotta be pretty quick though, because again, the ball's gonna roll by itself. And again, like I found that in my runs, you gotta be really quick for it to be on its course. See how it's on its course right now? It's right up in the corner. Yeah, the first time when I threw it, it didn't work because it was too far down. You gotta really have it be in the upper right corner, because it kind of gets jammed against the, again, I'll show you again. It kind of gets jammed against the hole, the side of the hole, and if it's too far down, it doesn't get jammed. This might work too. The upper left corner is more inconsistent though. That's more of a risky play. Sometimes I go for the upper left corner if I think that my run is taking too long to get it. But yeah. The upper right corner is definitely the one that works the most often. So I'm just going to do that a bunch of times to show you it's pretty consistent. So that time it's going to the left. I think I just stood too far to the right with the bowling shot, so that did not work. But it should be going back up now. I've been doing this trick for about 7 or 8 months now, I think. And I've gotten better at it as I've done it more. It's just kind of hard to get used to. And like, make sure you're walking way out left to get it. Just turn off your speakers if you don't like how it sounds, or just go in the options menu. This is actually pretty good advice though. You can go to the SFX volume and turn it all the way down if you don't want to listen to it. But if you're in the middle of a run, just turn down your volume if you don't want to listen to it. It's really not bad anyway though. I'll show you bottom corner, because this works occasionally, but it's probably the least consistent. Bottom right. Yeah. The reason why the bottom one is not as consistent is because it's too far down the ramp. You know, like if it's gonna get crushed and pushed out of here. But when it gets stuck in the upper right corner, it's got nowhere else to go. Yeah, I PB'd by 19.5 seconds. But again, like if you bowl in a specific spot with specific power, you just kind of experiment with yourself, like figure out the ball's pattern based on where you throw it, and you'll eventually get it. So like, that was awesome. That was fucking awesome. That's like basically what I try to go for in runs. You gotta kind of just play with it a little bit. It's very field-based. Again, if you're new to the game, it's not really important how quickly you get it, because I've been working on this trick for a pretty long time. But yeah, You gotta kind of figure out the angle to throw the ball in so it rolls into the right spot. Like wherever you want it to. That time I kind of missed it a little bit. But there is a consistent way of doing it. You just gotta figure it out. And again, like, this is a trick that not a lot of people do in runs up until this point, so it doesn't have like that great of a setup, but I find that what I do here works for me. Again, this might not work because it might be a little bit too low, but I'll give it a try. That might not work. Still worked. It's really not that precise. That first one was kind of a fluke, honestly. I don't know why that one didn't work, I guess, if it wasn't too low. But I still think it was just a little bit too low. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a bunch more so you can... The setup is pretty field-based, so you gotta kind of see a bunch of scenarios to get more experience with it. When I'm learning a game, and I like watch a run to kind of like get a feel for it, it kind of sucks. Like, again, this probably won't work because it's too close to the bottom, but I'll show you anyway. Yeah, too far to the bottom. I think that's what happens with the first one. The first one probably had that problem too. I find that showing a bunch of different scenarios for a trick that's like this, where there are so many different ways it can work, is important for learning it. So I'm just gonna keep doing it a bunch of times in a row for you guys to like kind of figure it out for yourselves. It's a field-based trick, but it feels really good when you get it though. It's fun. This is gonna work. So you wait for it to get to the corner. I think that time it was too close to the center. I kind of threw it a little bit too early. It was like, see, if you watch back again, you'll see it was like a little bit too close to the center, I think. Now, this time I'll just wait for it to go all the way to the right corner. Yeah, if it's too far to the left or too far down, it won't work. I thought that one might have worked, though. You know, the ball wasn't rolling fast enough. I could try this corner again, upper left corner. Again, it doesn't always work. Usually when that one does work, it sometimes pops out too. So I would definitely recommend still going with upper right corner. This is probably risky, but I'll try it anyway. Wait for it to get more to the right. As you can see, there are a lot of different ways to get it, and I wouldn't really consider myself that good at this trick because I still lose time to it in runs, but I think because based on like, since I started doing it, I've gotten more consistent at it and I've gotten better at it. You know, it's gonna get to the point where it is consistent, like very consistent, if you're good enough. So definitely something you want to lab out and work on. It's relevant in almost every category. So I'm not gonna make the same mistake last time. Wait till it goes more to the right. Yeah. See, that worked. I'll show a couple more ones. Yeah, I'll go over a couple more tricks too. It's been a while since I've made a bunch of individual tutorials. I've been waiting. I'll show you what happens, I guess, if you wait too long to get there. I might actually miss the window. I've been waiting to show tricks as tutorials for a while. Oh, I actually got it on cycle. Nice. But yeah, I really hope that this... I'm like, what, 8 for 10 right now? 8 for 10. One of the times I missed it, where it was just like in the beginning when I was getting back into doing it and I wasn't warmed up. I hope this debunks the idea that this trick is not consistent, because it actually is pretty damn consistent if you know what you're doing. It's precise, but again, most tricks in this game are pretty precise. And again, I'm not getting bad ball RNG either, because ball RNG is not a thing. Like, sure, like, there's RNG involved in how the balls roll, but you can make it pretty consistent if you bowl in the right spot with the right amount of power. It's not going to be the same every time, so there is a little bit of randomness involved in where the ball goes, but again, you've seen a bunch of times here that I've thrown it in a pretty similar spot, and look, it's going up to the same area again. So yeah, I hope more people see this video and get more motivated to learn how to do this trick, because again, I think I've made it look pretty easy after the past few tries. Just gotta make sure you're bowling in the right spot. Make sure you do it quickly too, and it'll just kind of go right where it needs to go. Usually. This one might not work, but I'll give it a try anyway. Still worked. See? Yeah, I think that more people need to give it a chance. That's all. I'll do it one more time, then I'll move on to more stuff. It's been a while since I've done live tutorials like this, and as I was saying earlier, I've been waiting for my Premiere to stop having bugs, but it's not going to stop having bugs, so I'm probably just going to do these tutorials live from now on. Oh, that was a nice one. Alright, that's all. So yeah, hopefully SBA itself is not difficult for people to do now after watching that. Let me get some water, I'll be right back.